The night was thick with darkness as I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white. The desolate highway stretched endlessly before me, swallowed by the shadows that clung to the edges of the road. Raindrops tapped incessantly on the roof of my car, creating an eerie melody that echoed my growing unease. I was on a road trip, driving through unfamiliar territory. The rain had intensified, reducing visibility to a mere few feet ahead. The rhythmic beating of the rain on the roof was hypnotic, luring my senses into a false calm. The headlights struggled to pierce through the veil of water, casting eerie shapes and shadows that danced at the periphery of my vision. My GPS insisted that I stay on this desolate road, assuring me that there was no other route available. I glanced at the clock. It was well past midnight. Anxiety tightened its grip on me as the surroundings became increasingly unfamiliar. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, that the rain was not the only force pressing down on me. The monotonous hum of the engine was suddenly interrupted by a low growl of thunder, causing my heart to skip a beat. The rain intensified, turning into a torrential downpour that drummed violently on the roof of the car. I strained my eyes to see through the windshield, squinting against the onslaught of water. As I continued to navigate through the relentless storm, I noticed a dim light in the distance. A flickering neon sign emerged from the darkness, revealing the silhouette of a dilapidated motel. Relief washed over me as I pulled into the parking lot, the rain reducing to a soft patter against the car. The motel's exterior was worn and weathered, its paint peeling away in places. An air of abandonment clung to the place, and I hesitated for a moment before deciding that any shelter was better than continuing through the night. I stepped out into the rain, the cold droplets soaking through my clothes. The neon sign flickered ominously, casting an eerie glow on the wet pavement. I approached the front desk, where a lone attendant with tired eyes looked up from a weathered magazine. "Room for the night?" I asked, my voice barely audible over the rain. The attendant nodded, sliding a rusty key across the counter. "Room 13. Don't mind the creaks, and keep the curtains drawn." His words sent a shiver down my spine, but exhaustion overpowered my instincts. I took the key and made my way to room 13, the rain following me in small droplets as I crossed the deserted courtyard. The door creaked open reluctantly, revealing a dimly lit room with faded wallpaper peeling away at the edges. The air inside was stale, carrying a scent of dampness and neglect. I closed the door behind me, the echoes of the rain now reduced to a distant murmur. I settled onto the worn-out mattress, exhaustion pulling me into a restless sleep. Dreams, or perhaps nightmares, flickered in the recesses of my mind, blending with the rhythmic pattering of rain on the roof. The hours passed like slow-moving shadows, each minute stretching longer than the last. A sudden, violent crash jolted me awake. The room was plunged into darkness as the power went out, leaving me disoriented and vulnerable. My heart raced as I fumbled for my phone, using its feeble light to navigate the room. A whisper of wind brushed against the curtains, its eerie howl sending a chill down my spine. I could hear soft footsteps, almost drowned out by the persistent drumming of rain outside. Panic gripped me as I realized I was not alone in the room. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice trembling in the darkness. No response. The footsteps continued, growing louder and closer. I strained my eyes to pierce through the inky blackness, but there was nothing to see. The air in the room turned icy, and my breath caught in my throat. The dim light of my phone revealed the curtains, their fabric moving as if stirred by an unseen presence. I watched in horror as the shadows behind them morphed and twisted, taking shape in the form of elongated fingers. My pulse quickened, and a suffocating fear enveloped me. In the feeble glow, I saw the curtains part slowly, revealing the figure of a woman. Her face was obscured by long, tangled hair that hung like a veil. She moved closer, her movements deliberate and unnatural. A cold, guttural sound emanated from her throat. I couldn't move, paralyzed by an unseen force that held me captive in the suffocating darkness. The figure drew nearer, the air thick with a palpable malevolence. I could now see her eyes, hollow, devoid of life, staring into the abyss. A sudden gust of wind extinguished the light of my phone, plunging the room into total darkness. I felt a presence closing in, the sound of the woman's breath inches from my face. The air turned frigid as her icy fingers grazed my skin. In a desperate surge of adrenaline, I managed to break free from the invisible restraints that held me. I stumbled backward, crashing into furniture as I fumbled for the door. Panic fueled my movements as I tore through the pitch-black room, my hands searching desperately for the exit. The rain outside had intensified, the thunderous symphony echoing my terror. I burst through the door and into the night, the storm raging around me. My car sat alone in the parking lot, the motel's neon sign flickering ominously against the tempestuous sky. Without looking back, I sprinted to my car, fumbling with the keys. As the engine roared to life, I peeled out of the motel parking lot, leaving the nightmarish scene behind. The rain battered against the windshield, the wailing wind carrying echoes of the woman's unearthly whisper. As I drove through the storm-ridden night, a lingering unease settled in the pit of my stomach. The motel and its haunting inhabitant were now just a haunting memory, but the spectral chill of that encounter lingered. The darkness beyond my headlights seemed to hold secrets that were better left undiscovered, and the road ahead stretched into an infinite abyss of uncertainty. I drove on, haunted by the shadows that clung to the periphery of my vision, a reminder of the night when driving in the rain went terribly wrong. Hope you enjoy listening to this story. For more videos, please subscribe to our channel.